that arise in one's mind. But yes, if I ask you, how many species of plant exist in this planet, do you have any number? How many species you think that exist in this planet of plant?
Thousands of types and
Thousands.
species.
Thousands of species. Okay. Any other thing? No. Well, it is supposed to be a big family. The plant kingdom comprises more than 1 million species. Okay, it's an estimated number. Still, the number is not confirmed because we do not know much about the full diversity. It's very complex to get out all the information, right? In Mexico, just one example, we have at least 6,000 different plant species of medicinal plants. That is the one data, right? Then you have to include different other varieties of plants. So we are talking about like 25 to 30,000 different species, okay, just in Mexico. And if you talk about the ocean flora, still we do not know. We know very little about ocean flora because it is below the ocean, right? It grow inside the water, and still we don't know what kind of species are there in rivers and water systems. So that is one of the big group that remains to be explored. And obviously land plant, right? Land plants, the plants that grow on land, that is the that has been the one of the most important group to study. And obviously, and behind out of those, only 20 crops or 20 plants that have been like that feed more than 90% of population in the world. So basically, they have been the focus of all kind of studies, right? Modern and basic and traditional. So just you can imagine only 20 different cultivars, they feed more than 90% of the population. So we have a food concern, right? You have maize, you have trigo, wheat, rye, beans, potato, tomato. These are the most cultivated plants all over the planet. And then we have categories of herbs that use as a cosmetics or fragrance or aroma or food or spices. And then we have medicinal plants, right? And there are so many plants that has no commercial value at least, but they have ecological impact, they have biological impact, right? And still we need to study and confirm, okay? So understanding plants means try to first of all classify them, how they have been classified, because it's a very big family, millions of, I'm telling you, more than 1 million of plant species, right? But definitely we have to learn how to classify and how to identify, right? Okay, before I go further, I saw one hand from Carla, I guess, right, Carla? Or you just drop your hand?
Yes, I just wanted to ask you, like, if in this million estimated species, you also included ones that are like in extinction or in risk of extinction, because I read that in the lecture that there are also taking care of these species that are in risk of disappearing.
Every species is included. It's an estimation. Nobody knows the exact number. So there are several hypotheses and estimations. I go with the 1 million plant species because still we do not know many plant species we need to explore. Okay, so everything is included, which is considered as a plant. Okay. Okay, so this is the thing that I already told you, that this is what we have to learn about the anatomy, and then we have to understand about the reproduction and the physiology. Okay, so this is very crucial. Otherwise, you are not going to be able to do anything in tissue culture. Okay. So this picture just to a representative picture of what musgo, right? Musgo, you see a moss like anywhere, even in your home, in the garden, in any wetty place where you have a constant flow of water. So you will see a lot of moss. A moss looks like nothing if you just see or observe it superficially, right? But it becomes very spatial when you see a microscopic image of the same mouse. In the right side, you see image, a very, very complex and very dynamic, image, which is the spore forming mouse that produces spores. So it is a micro electron microscope image, just to tell you that plants may look very simple when we observe them superficially, but they are extremely complex, and depending on the each species, their complexity, biological molecular complexity, is goes up and down, but they all are very, very complex organism to understand, right? So what are the importance of the plants? Number one, we need to understand that, okay, everybody know about plants, and we every day we see plants, but we hardly think about them, right, sincerely. So number one application, they clean the air, right? Everybody know, you guys are sustainable guys, I know, and you think very much about the environment. So obviously plants clean air because they absorb CO2 and they release the oxygen, right? They produce oxygen as a part of their photosynthesis. Obviously they are attractive. They can be used for the beautification of the sites. They are our food. You can imagine that 90% of the population only consume 20%, 20 different cultivars, and maybe 25 cultivars, which is to feed 100% of world population, right? Obviously, I already mentioned 30% of our medicine, pharmaceutical API compounds, they belong directly or indirectly from the medicinal plants. So plants are our medicines. Obviously, clothings, whatever we are putting nowadays, or everything which is from cotton, right? Or other kinds of fibers. Now there are other plants which have been used to extract fibers to create textile industry or create clothes. That is also from plants. And housing, the wood material, a very big industry. The timber industry is very, very important, right? Everything coming in furniture and housing and the urbanization depends. So basically, you can imagine without plants, our life will be like Mars, a very boring and difficult life, right? So this is the application of the plants. And now I'm just give you some highlights. I call them bullets, important bullets, highlights of the plants. For example, 85% of plant life is found in the ocean, right? People think that I just mentioned that there is a hypothesis that considered that there will be more than 1 million plant species, because in land plants we have identified approximately 400,000 different species. So we know that in ocean, which is much more, which covers the vast area of our planet, it has more than 85% of the plant life. So we have too much to explore, right? Brazil, for example, everybody know about the country, but it is after a tree, which is called Brazil. The Amazon rainforest, very famous, produce almost half of the world's oxygen supply. Okay. Cricket bat, I don't know if you are familiarized about cricket. In India, cricket is like football. Everybody is crazy about cricket. In Mexico, everybody is crazy about football. So every country has its own craziness. In cricket, for example, the bat is made up of a tree called bilbo, and baseball bat is made up of the wood of hickory tree. Okay. Caffeine, for example, everybody like coffee, right? But coffee is famous because of the caffeine. Everybody who is taking coffee means he is loving caffeine, because caffeine is its main constituent. And obviously it is a pesticide. Basically it helps plants to kill insects. So whatever we consume, we are consuming a natural pesticide. Apple, potato, and onion, this is very interesting. They have the same taste if you eat them by closing your nose. Okay, you just close your nose and eat all one by one, you won't find any difference in the taste, because the taste is because of the smell. Okay, this is very similar taste. They have a very similar taste. Okay. uh, the tears during cutting an onion are caused by sulfuric acid, right? You cut an onion and we cry, right? We have tears in our eyes, and this is because of the natural sulfuric acid that produced in the onion, right? uh, the first potato was one of the first cultivar in the human history, was cultivated in Peru. Okay. Very similarly, like maize in Mexico and mango in India, or tamar in India, right? So these are like motherland of different cultivars. Strawberry is the only fruit that bears its seeds on the outside, on the surface. So basically, when you see a strawberry, you see a lot of dots on the surface, right? Whatever you're seeing the seeds. Okay. So a small strawberry, a mature strawberry may have up to 200 different seeds on the surface. So this is the only fruit. Okay. Around 2000 different types of plants are used by humans to make food. I'm sure in Mexico, we have almost like 500 different plants, right? Which have been used for cuisine. We are finishing one article that we are going to publish very soon, hopefully this year, where we have make a complete revision of edible plants in Mexico. Okay, and the data is extremely exciting to see how in Mexico the cultures, cuisine, and in Oaxaca and Chiapas and in many other places, and indigenous people, how they use a variety of plant that many people even don't know by their name, right? So just imagine thousands of plants we use as a food. Okay. Bamboo is the fastest growing woody plant in the world, and it can grow up to 35 inches in a single day. Okay. Obviously, it is not going to grow in your house 35 inches a day. It needs its own ecological and geographical conditions, favorable condition, then only it grow. I work with kiri. Kiri can grow up to 6 inches, right? But 35 inches is the fastest one. Jinko Biloba, I'm not sure if you have heard about this Chinese medicinal plant. Is one of the most important species in China. There are a lot of herbal and medical products have been developed by Jinko Biloba. Just imagine, it dates back up to 250 million years ago. Okay, the oldest living tree species. Can you imagine? From the time of dinosaurs. Okay, dinosaurs time. So this is what I was telling, how many plant species. For example, there are 300,000 different plant species on land, but now this data is little modified, and some articles has proclaimed that there are 400,000 different species. 400,000 means land plant. Okay, we don't know, not more than even 2% of the ocean flora. Okay, so land plant is like 400,000. Oak tree, a very famous oak tree. You must be remember a cartoon that there is a squirrel always trying to find out the seed, right, from oak. And this tree do not produce acorns up to until it becomes of 50 years old. Can you imagine? An average size tree, you can imagine like what is the average size tree, maybe 5 meter long, right? Can produce up to 170,000 pencils. Okay, this is the capacity of a tree. Apple, you can see that apple, if you throw into the water, apple float, it's going to flow, it's not going to sink. So basically, because apple is up to 20% air, okay, and this is why it's float on the water. The evaporation from the large oak or beech tree in from up to 25 gallon in 24 hours. Just imagine the on the beach when you enjoy the coconut and other kinds of tree, you can imagine up to 25 gallons of water in 24 hours. The evaporation is constant. Okay. And eating lots of onion will make you sleepy because it is little sedative. It is just one data. If you eat a lot of cebollita, you not only smell bad, but you will also sleep. Okay, because it has some sedative chemicals which have been isolated and validated. Okay, so it has some anxiolytic and sedative compounds. Okay. Okay, so before I go further, I have one question from Karina. Please, Karina, go ahead.
Yes. Is it true that onions can help close your wounds?
Close your wounds?
Wounds, like when you cut yourself and you put onion?
I'm not sure because yes, it is anti-inflammatory. So maybe that is why it is used. In India, for example, it is used with curcuma. You know curcuma, turmeric? So people use curcuma and onion together and they put on a wound or injury. So I think it is because of some anti-inflammatory compound constituents, which is in the onion. So maybe it helps because of that. Okay.
Yes.
But it is not very, very anti-inflammatory, but yes, it is helpful, I guess. So, but it's a traditional use, not, I haven't seen any commercial product or any medicine that use cebollita. Okay. I like cebolla a lot with barbecue. Okay. So, okay. So now classification. So when you have such a large number of family, large number of species, how would you like, or how can you classify them, right? For example, the first classification was reported in 17th century by Carlos Linnaeus, who was a Swedish botanist, and he was the one who developed the binomial nomenclature system, which comprises 2 names for each plant species. Okay, and he's considered as a father of taxonomy. Okay. This is the taxonomic chart, which is a general schematic representation of one plant species, for example. So there is a kingdom always, right? Kingdom of plant or animal or insect, right? There must be a division. There must be subdivision, but normally division, subdivision are very complicated to remember, frankly speaking. So people directly go to the class, okay, directly go to the class, and even order, okay, order is not much relevant. So people who are working with the plant species, they go directly to the family. Okay, so I know everything that is this plant, and I will directly go to the class and the family. So suppose it's a Musaceae, so Musaceae family, it's a banana family, and between Musaceae there are so many plant species out there. So the family and the genus, right, and the species, these are the most important thing. Okay, family, genus, and species. Yes, these 3 you need to remember for the plant you are going to work. I work with many plants, so I remember always their family, genus, and species, right? And common name. Common name is very, very relevant, and it become very important because there are so many confusion in the plant taxonomy area, so much confusion because of the obvious reasons, because you know that plants, they have so many morphological similarities. Their fluorescence is very similar. I work with a plant which has 26 different species in the same genus, but they all looks very similar. So if this is not me who is working with the plant species for more than 10 years, any other person is going to be confused. So nowadays, taxonomy, traditional taxonomy, which depends on the morphological visualization, observation, the characteristics, right? It's combining together with the DNA barcoding techniques, molecular biology techniques, and both together are helping to establishing a database by which it is much easier to identify different plant species. And since animals are very different, you know, dog, cat, and everything is look very different. Plants, you know, they all are green, basically. Normally 99% are green. and they have very similar characteristics, right? Reproduction processes, defense processes, all that. So it is very difficult. So traditional taxonomy, where you observe the characteristics by eyes normally and document it, now with the help of molecular biology techniques, is the one which is helping a lot. Okay, so this is the normal taxonomic pattern. And to understand the plant species, very important that all the plant names, they are written in Latin, okay, which is a good thing. And first name, because we have two names, right? Any plant species, or animal even, we have two number binomial process. So it has two names. The number one name represents its genus, and the second one represents its species. Okay. The genus is capitalized. Okay. Genus is capitalized. Species not capitalized. Okay. They are written in italics or underlined. So basically now nobody underline, because underlining means, you know, extra scratching or putting them so much colors on the screen. So just by italic in a scientific paper, it's more than enough. You will find some plant species where you will find a X. So X basically represent a cross. Okay, it's represent a cross, a hybrid, you can call it, right? And these commas, okay, these commas denotes a cultivar, which is a man-made cross. Okay, so the X denotes a cross, maybe a natural made cross, right? These commas, when you will see there are comma on a plant species, you can understand that this is a cultivar, which is a man-made cross. Okay, a variety is a natural occurring cross. Okay, because some people will put it variety. Okay, variety of the banana variety, the papaya variety, this strawberry variety. Okay, when they call it variety or cultivar, means this is a natural occurring cross. Okay, so these are for your information, because definitely it is going to help you to understand about the articles about the plant species. Yes, Sophia, go ahead.
Yes, doctor, sorry, I get a little bit confused with the cross and the man-made cross. It's only,
There
I
are
don't know.
there are so many natural cross. Okay, so many natural cross where nobody did anything. So X means a cross. Okay, and when you put the commas, means a man-made cross, because there is a intervention of human.
So the first cross is like a natural cross?
Yes.
Okay, thank you.
But then what would be the difference between the X and the variety?
Okay, cross and variety. It's a variety could be even a cross. Okay, for example, how to say cross and variety. Cross, actually, cross could be a variety, and somebody just put you a plant name with cross, so you know it's a cross. And the cross could be a variety, because basically variety means like rasa, because it's the same species, but it has a lot of variety. Banana, for example, it's a species, but it can have 10, 20, 30, 40, 60, 100 different varieties. Okay, so variety, when at least they put, you can just think that a variety is a natural occurring cross. Okay, just I'm putting variety here just to understand that some people will put varieties all over the manuscript, and maybe you will find out what variety means. Variety is a natural occurring cross, and when a variety maybe is covered by the obliques or these commas, means it's a variety which have been developed by men. Okay, so there will be variety which is natural, and there will be varieties which have been developed by humans, right? That's because natural variety nowadays you will see very less, and what you see are man-made varieties all over the world. Okay, whether it is maize, whether it is any other kind of plant, food plants, and obviously for medicinal plant. Okay, did I answer?
Yes, thank you, teacher.
Okay, So moving, this is one example. For example, it's a golden princess, right? You can put like Hydra helix, Homo sapien. It's a Homo sapien is not a plant. It's V. And Fiscus benchamina, right? Benchamina, it's golden princess, for example. So what does it mean? Means it's a man-made cross, right? It's using the commas. And Nephrosis extra CB means cultivar variety. Okay, means a natural variety. It is Pelangrium domesticum, means it's a natural cross variety. Okay, now you got some example. Now you understand it. Okay, so it's cultivar. Okay, cool. Now you have different kinds of plants, and you have two methods of classify them. This is the most superficial way of classify plants. It still may help you, but this is not the best one. Annual plants, biennial plants, perennial, woody, and herbaceous. So it's a very, very superficial classification. A plant which lasts only 1 year, annual, which lasts for 2 years, biennial, plant perennial, which plant lasting 3 seasons or more, woody, which produce wood, herbaceous, which is arbusto. Okay, so this is the very simple superficial classification, but yes, many people use it. So that is why I'm putting here, because it is still relevant. It is not to forget, it is to keep in mind, because many people use these terms not to classify, but to identify or tag a plant family. Okay, maybe someone will ask you, okay, what plant is this? You say it's a perennial. So you must know what is perennial plants, means at least 3 seasons or 3 years, right? Woody plants which produce wood, herbaceous, un arbusto, biennial, the someone which is growing at least for 2 years, right? Annual plants, 1 year. Okay, so this is the very simple procedure. Now, this picture you can see, right? Tree forms. There are so many different kinds of tree: round, spreading, pyramidal, base, peeping, open, irregular, all that. So I don't want to go deep in that. You just can have you already know this, right? Basically, every tree have different designs or different structure morphologically. So they have been given a name, particular name for them. Okay. Now coming to the other process of classification, and that is very, very important. So the plant kingdom can be divided in 2 categories: flowering plants and non-flowering plants. Okay, plants that produce flowers, plants that do not produce flowers. Now, this non-flowering category can be divided in 3 different families. Okay, moss, musgo, ferns, and gymnosperm. Okay, so these 3. Okay, now this is, yes, you need to remember, gymnosperm, fern means helechos, gymnospermos, I don't know how to call it in Spanish, but moss is musco. So these 3 are the important plant species, obviously families, but they do not produce flowers. Okay, flowers like what you know as flowers, a beautiful organ of the plant, right? So they do not produce flowers. So are we okay? Non-flowering plants means, non-flowering means you have 3 different categories. Okay, and this is the example of moss. Okay, different kinds of moss species are there. Okay, you can find them on wetty place, humid place. Okay, they spore producing capsules. They have spore producing capsules, and this is how they reproduce basically. So their reproduction depending on the spreading of spores. Okay, this is their reproductive organ. So main characteristics of mosses, they are the most simplest plant. They don't have roots. They have something that look like roots, but they are not roots, because roots help plant to absorb nutrients and water. And in case of moss, they have rhizoids which help plant to get attached to the surface. Okay, so this rhizoids provide only support. Okay, no, they are not root structure. They looks like root, but they are not root. They are non-vascular, guys. This is very important. Means they absorb by their surface their nutrient and water. So they do not have vascular system like veins. like we have vascular system like animals, right? Because we have veins. Whatever we consume, it go to our bloodstream and it go through all over the body and supply food and nutrients to each cell. So that system does not exist in moles. Okay. And obviously they are very small. Okay, very, very small. In some cases, only 1 millimeter long. Okay. So these are the main characteristics of moles. Now talking to ferns, helechos. Mexico, for example, is a very good place for helechos. You know, in Chiapas, in Oaxaca, in Morelia, even in Querétaro, we have a lot of variety of indigenous or native helechos. Okay. Yes, Pilar.
Teacher, how do the moths absorb nutrients again? Sorry, I didn't hear.
Their surface has the capacity directly from the leaf and the stem, because they absorb by the humidity, relative humidity. Okay. So they are always on the water. So water is constantly on their contact and they absorb directly from the water. Okay. So the function of their root, it directly on their surface, full surface. Okay. So now fun. Helechos, for example, this is the normal structure of helechos. You can find them. Okay. Very, very famous appearance. You know, you can even visualize, okay, normal helecho, how they looks like. And they are also spore producing, right? So the similarity between moths and the spores, that they both produce spores, and the reproduction process, it depending on the spores. Basically, this spores is going to convert in a new baby plant. Okay. And every spores has its own way or different parts to produce spores. Normally they are on the top or on the bottom side of the leaf where they produce spores. Okay. And they are also found on wetty places. Okay. They are also found on wetty places, humid places. If they don't have relative humidity, they are not going to survive. So many people who buy helechos for their casitas and they kill them, they die, and they complain that why it is dying, because helechos need relative humidity. Okay. The difference between the moths and the ferns is that ferns, obviously they have the vascular system because they are big in size. Okay. The benefits, the advantage that moths have, that they are very, very small. They are so tiny. So the vascular system not even necessary, right? They don't have to supply anything through the body. When they have the water, they can absorb the nutrients. But vascular plant, they are a little bigger in size, which is the case of these helechos. They are bigger. They could be meters long. So definitely they have vascular system to transport and to support. Okay. And yes, they have root, well growth root, because they also absorb nutrients and water from the soil. Okay. And obviously they are not sun loving creatures. They are normally in the shady place or dump place, which has a very porous kind of soils, as shady soils, shady places where they grow well with a relative humidity. Okay, so these are the characteristics of fern. Now, Gymnosperm, Mexico is a very good place for Gymnosperms, right? You know, everywhere pinos, right? Cedros, pinos, cedros, pinos. So obviously, Mexico has a lot of native varieties of pinos and cedros. This is called Gymnosperm or pine trees. Okay, and they are non-flowering because they have something that looks like flower, but it's a woody material, and you can call it a flower, but they does not look like a flower, right? Flowers generally considered as a petals with colors and all that. It's like a wood ball, a ball made up of woody material. So this is how the male and female part looks in pine tree, and this is their leaves. Basically, they grow in cold places. Generally, in cold places, you will find a lot of them. And obviously, and this is the cones. We call them cones, a male cone and female cone. So now you can differentiate that a single cone of this structure looks will be males. They are also in clusters. There will be a lot of male cones, and this is the female. They are scatters. Okay, so obviously they produce pollens. They reproduce. They have vascular system. Of course they have vascular system because they are so tall, up to 20, 30, 40 meters long, so they need vascular system. They have well developed root system. Okay, and obviously the only thing they don't have flowers. Okay, basically they have everything like other plants. Okay, so obviously these are very tall, and their main application, it's that most of them, they are used for wood. Okay, so you know the Pinot and reforestation and all the projects that are going on generally to reforestation or the timber industry, they used to or prefer the wood from Pinot. Okay, so these were the three categories or families. Okay, and that's just the spore size. Okay, this is the seed size from from angiosperm. Okay, the yellow one, the yellow circle represent a normal seed from angiosperm, and this is the size of a spore. Okay, you can imagine it's very even it's, in some cases it is such small that we cannot see by naked eyes. Okay, they just go from the air, and some people even have the allergies from spores, right? Some people even have allergy from pollination and all that, pollen energy. So it's very similar to the pollens, very small in size. Okay, and just to understand the seed structure, because angiosperm, anything we eat or anything we saw as a flower, they are angiosperm. Apple is an angiosperm. Any fruit what we consume is angiosperm. So we can compare an apple with the gymnosperm seed. Here you are seeing a fruit that we consume, right? Full of nutritive and tasty flesh. This has seed, right? A small seed on the center of the fruit. Here you will see that it has seeds, but obviously this is the structure, right? And you cannot eat it. It's woody material. We can even directly use as a fogata. Okay, it's fully woody material. Okay, so this is the difference to understand. Obviously, this is the open cone, and you will see inside the cone, you have the cone scale and ripened seed. Okay. Now coming to the second category, right? Second category is flowering plants that give flowers. So this is the biggest family. Okay, everything we consume, everything we use for the food industry, cosmetic industry, medicine industry, whatever it is all they belong to the flowering plants. Obviously in angiosperm, this is the biggest, but in gymnosperm also they have their own benefits, right? So to understand the flowering plant, you have two different categories: monocotyledons and dicotyledons. Monocotyledons and dicotyledons, it just to differentiate, to understand, because morphologically they can be understand, they can be divided. Okay, they can be classified because they have different characteristics. Okay, and these characteristics lies in their root, stem, leaf, vascular system, and the form of flowers and fruit. So this is how you can differentiate. You see a flowering plant, you can say, okay, this is angiosperm. You are right. But within the angiosperm, now you should know whether it is monocotyledons or it is dicotyledons. If it is complicated to pronunciate, you can just use monocot, dicot. That's it. It's the same thing, monocot and dicot. Okay. Now, I would like to invite you to just go into your garden, okay, in the evening, on by Friday, on the weekend, and try to observe the plants, okay, near you, around you, and you will find out that some will have these parallel veins. Okay, you see these veins like veins where the blood runs, right? So these are the parallel veins, and this is the characteristic of monocotyledons or monocots. Okay, parallel veins. When in monocots, the seed is only one seed leaf, okay? Like maize, like mice. You will see that it has parallel veins and it has only one granito. One granito, you cannot separate it like frijolito. You know, when you observe a frijolito, it has like two different units combining together to make complete seed, right? But that does not happen in this thing. In peanuts, for example, peanut, you also can visualize that it has two parts, okay? Two parts. So so the maize, for example, it has parallel veins. It has the seed has only one cotyledons, okay? So that is called monocot, okay? And in dicotyledons, you will see the veins in network, okay? Irregular shapes. You will see a lot of different kinds of like veins, like what we have in our hands and our body, okay? Irregular network of veins, okay? So that is the characteristics of dicotyledons, and which I just mentioned that they have two seed leaf structure, right? Two seed. So it's like, it is not one single seed. It's like you can open, separate. So they looks like two seed leaves, okay? Yes, Maria.
Yes, I just have a doubt. What about succulents? Suculentas is where does they classify or not?
Succulent. If it has succulent, okay, succulent is it's a very general term, very broad term to call a family, right? Fatty plants, we call them fatty plants, but it has flower, means it is angiosperm, Emilia, okay? If it is because succulent plants have flowers, right? So, and some succulent will not have, so depending, but I know that every succulent plants, it's a angiosperm, okay? And then you can observe their leaf, their seed, and their flowers to separate them in monocots and dicots.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. So this is the difference what you have seen in the seed and in the leaf. I still missing another important attribute to classify them. But for example, here trees, sunflower, rose, their seed you can observe, and you will find that they are dicots. Okay. Now, little, expanding the attributions and characteristics between monocot and dicots. For example, one cotyledons, two cotyledons, right? Let me stop my face 1 second. I'm going to share this in another format, so at least I can annotate something on them. Okay, here I go again. Okay, so I was here. Okay, so here I is. Okay, cool. So, okay, so this is the important thing here. Okay, and this is very important. So one cotyledons, right, and two cotyledons. Cotyledons is the unit. Okay, what you see in a seed, whatever you see cotyledons. Veins parallel, veins irregular or net-like structure. Okay, and now vascular bundle. Vascular bundle, you cut the stem and you see the supply of xylem and phloem. Stem in any plant, any stem, basically it is made up of, in the majority, xylem and phloem. Okay. Xylem and phloem are the most important part to supply nutrients and water. So xylem supply water and phloem supply nutrients. So the vascular bundle is a mixture of xylem and phloem. So when you observe the structure of vascular bundle in a stem of monocot and dicot, you will find out that complex arranged or the irregular shaped vascular bundle are found in the monocot and arranged and in a ring structure or in a very well organized manner, vascular system can be found in dicots. Okay. Now, if you observe the root, obviously that this root in monocot, it's fibrous, means irregular. It does not have the main root up to bottom, just main root till up to here. Okay, only a very small portion, we call it the main root, which is here. This is the main root. And then you have everything you are seeing. This is a fibrous root system. You can cut any part of it. Nothing will happen to the plant if you cut it gently. But in dicots, you have main root, okay, from the top to the bottom. Okay. And this is called the tip of root, which also have meristematic tissue, which keep growing. So it has main root, okay, which is called taproot. And that taproot give rise to lateral roots. These are called lateral root. Okay. So this is one of the characteristics of dicots. And last, but not the least, its floral parts usually multiplies in 3, like 3 and 3. So they are 6. Okay. That is the like 3, 6, 9, 12. So this become monocot. And in dicots, flowers are usually multiplies in 4 or 5. Okay. So here multiplies in 3 and here multiplies of 4 or 5. Okay. So that is the different. Okay. So now if you want to identify a plant, you have to find out all these 5 differences. Okay. Then only you will be able to differentiate whether it is a monocot or dicot angiosperm. Okay. And yes, in some cases you may find some confusions. So you have to go with the literature, botanical literature, where you can find out some of the extra information to clearly define monocot and dicot. Okay. Question and doubt till here, guys? Yes, Karina.
Yes. Oh, when we sorry, when we count the flowers, it's from the whole organism or just like one.
Yes,
I
one
don't know.
flower, one species. Sorry, one specimen. Okay, one specimen. That's more than enough to find out, because you can have only one flower, and by one flower you can find out the differences. Only one specimen is more than enough to find out. You don't have to be compared with any other species.
But my question is, you have to count like all the flowers on the.
No, only one flower.
The tree?
One flower. Did you hear me? Only one flower.
Okay.
Okay, because all the flower are supposed to same. Plant is not going to produce flower with 5 or 4, right? So basically, that's almost against the nature. So only one specimen is more than enough. You just take out one plant, go to the lab, and you can observe a microscope to define. Okay.
Yes.
Yes, Estefania.
Yes, vascular bundles are the ones that absorb the nutrients.
Nutrients and water. Vascular bundle plants have two most important thing to absorb nutrients and water. Xylem absorb water and phloem absorb nutrient. Okay. The question is going to come in the exam right now. Okay. So I'm just giving you the answer. Okay.
But for example, bundles have xylem and I don't know how to write those, xylem and phloem.
Okay, I can write it here, no problem. Okay, this is xylem, okay, XYLEM, okay, and this is phloem. I also forgot to write phloem. I hope I'm writing this correctly. Okay, this is phloem. Okay, xylem and phloem.
And those are inside bundles.
Yes, they both combinedly called as a vascular bundle.
Okay.
Okay, they both combinedly call as a vascular bundle.
And which is more effective, or it's not like that?
No, both are important because one supply water, another supply nutrient. They cannot inter-exchange their functions.
Yes, but I was talking, sorry, about monocots and dicots.
Same function in both plants.
Okay.
Their function never changed because they are very basically angiosperm is a plant species, right? So their function and reproduction and propagation and all that is same. All they share the same morphological and biological developmental characteristics. Okay, so the function don't change.
Okay, thank you.
Yes, Enrique.
All these characteristics have to go together, or for example, there could be monocots with, I don't know, taproot system.
Normally, yes, there you can find out some exception, and that is why you have to go sometime in the literature, but 95% plants will not have any problem. You can easily differentiate them, okay? But you have any exception over there, so you can go with the large number of characteristics, right? Maybe out of 5, you have only 4, so you go with the majority, okay? And classify it as a monocot or dicot.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, yes, Sophia.
Yes, doctor. About xylem and phloem, which one is the one from nutrients and one for the water?
Phloem is for nutrients, okay?
Okay.
And xylem is for water. I hope I'm not wrong. I get confused, but I hope I'm right, okay? Okay, cool. So moving further now. Karina, did I answer? You look confused. I don't know, that's my perception.
No, I was just writing the stuff, but I think I did my question wrong. What I meant, like, I understand like every flower is the same in the organism, but the part of the flowers that it says that it multiplies by 4 or 5 and multiplies by 3, I mean, like, they just, I don't understand that part. Like, in the organism, you will see like the
6 petals.
Ah, petals. Okay, yeah,
yes,
yeah.
Petals.
Good.
Three,
That was my question.
Yes, 3 petals, 6 petals, 4 petals, or 5 petals. Okay. Yes. Okay. So I was right. You were confused. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, moving further now. Okay. Okay, so now a little exercise, and I want you to answer this. Okay. Okay, so this is a big picture. What we have learned today about plants. Plants can be divided into the category like non-flowering and flowering. Are we clear? I guess, right? Then the non-flowering plants can be of 2 types: spore bearing and naked seeds, right? We had 3 different families. Okay, so spore bearing, no roots. Which plants I am talking about? No roots.
Moss.
No roots. Let's see. Yes, you're right. With roots.
Ferns.
Diamond fern? Pine tree?
Ferns.
Ferns. Yes, with roots, right? Naked seed. What I'm talking about?
Gymnosperm.
Sorry?
Gymnosperm.
Gymnosperm. Yes. Now, flowering plants can be further divided into 1 seed and 2 seed leaves, just giving one clue. So what is the classification? How would you classify them in?
Monocot and dicot.
Monocot and dicot. Fantastic. Fantastic. Cool. Okay, so this is what you are doing now. Every function and all that. It's very important to understand, right? The parts and their functions. Then only we are going to understand their biological importance and how to use them as a biotechnologist, right? Okay. So now I think you have learned about the classification and types. So are you ready for the quiz? Yes? or no? You can ask me any doubt you have before the quiz, okay? The quiz on Kahoot.
Can you repeat the thing you said about phylum and phylum of
Phloem, phloem, phloem.
phloem? Yeah.
Xylem for water and phloem for nutrient. Okay. Anything else? I'm just about to share, okay? Do you hear my music?
Yes.
Okay, it's a classification song. Now you can enter.
Let's talk about gymnosperms and onto angiosperms. We'll start with gym, no flowers there. And they've just got those green leaves blowing in the air. And onto angio with flowers that abound. They turn to fruit and then fall to the ground. And now we can classify. We can classify. We can classify. We use groups to classify.
Nice guitar. Okay. 2 people are missing. Please connect.
Just wait a little bit for me, teacher. It's because my internet is having trouble and I cannot, what do
Okay.
you say? Oh, it didn't let me enter Kahoot. So
Okay,
just
okay.
wait a minute, please.
Okay, okay.
Now trees are vascular because they got tubes to move the water up from the roots. And there's non-vascular, that's like moss. They don't have tubes, just move water across. And now we can classify. We can classify. We can classify. We use group to classify. Now some plants have seeds and some do not. Like ferns, they use spores to grow in new spots. But the ones do, we will explain to you. Let's talk about gymnosperms and onto angiosperms. We'll start with gym, no flowers there. And they've just got those green leaves blowing in the air. And onto angio with flowers that are
I don't know if I can see my name, teacher, but it's telling me that I'm already in.
Okay, maybe.
Oh, it's there.
Okay. Okay, now starting.
We use groups to classify.
Wonderful. It's very smart. Cotton, rose, strawberry, all they have flowers. Mushrooms, mushroom. Liverwort is a plant. Second last. Last one. Finished. Okay, cool. I will upload this one. The Kahoot I will also upload on the module. Okay, so you can always have this question in your access, and obviously these questions are always I'm going to put in the bar shells and all that. So it's very important. So I just download the PDF and will upload in the module. Okay. Any doubt, question? No? Okay. So I think you have more clarity about the classification, and definitely we will be talking about in the next class, because next class is about anatomy. Okay. So I need you to finish your homework by Monday so that we can discuss in deep more about the anatomy, because anatomy is more difficult than the reproduction part. Because yes, you need to remember at least some of the important terms. That is the most difficult things. And the another most important thing is to understand the function of each part. Okay, so that is the anatomy. So once you complete this homework, on Monday, I will give you a book chapter, a beautiful book chapter with a lot of colors and images to read about the anatomy, about functionality and all that. Okay, so I will upload directly on the campus. You can read from today if you want, but I just want to give you burden of two things. Okay, so I just try to lighten the weight on you, so you just focus on the homework, and then the next week I will ask you to read through that anatomy book chapter. Okay, but it is uploaded. If some of you can start reading, it's up to you. Okay, yes, there are two hands. Yes, Stefania and then Sophia.
About the percentage of the flower plant that being the highest, it means that it grows faster, or how?
I cannot listen to you because there is a noise in your background. Sorry. Can you repeat?
Again, so the highest percentage of growth is for flowering plant, but how is the approach of that? Like they flower first or they grow? It's because
Flowering
I
plants,
thought
flowering plants. Yes, yes. Look, flowering plants. This is, I think I didn't mention, but flowering plants are the most advanced plant. Angiosperm is the new family or new when you compare as a evolutionary level, angiosperm are the primitive. Okay, and gymnosperm are the primitive moss, fern, and the gymnosperm. And the most advanced evolutionized, which have been evolutionized, which is new, maybe 5,000, 10,000 or 50,000 year species old, they are the angiosperm. So obviously, when you compare their percentage of growth, because since angiosperm can grow in a very different places, because gymnosperms and the moss and LHOs, they have very restricted conditions, right? Very limited conditions, and they are very, very sensitive, right? They're extremely sensitive. Just a little change in the pH, a little change in the humidity, the sunlight, they die. At least fern and the moss are going to die. And pines, they grow, but very slow. Okay. But if you compare in months grow, in a week grow, definitely angiosperm are the one which grow faster due to their superiority in their genomic level. So they grow faster, they double faster, they reproduce faster, right? So in that term. Okay. Okay. Sophia?
Yes, it's why the peanuts is decut.
Oh, open a peanut and check it. It has two different body. It's like two seeds.
Okay, I see. Okay.
Okay, it's like bean. When you take a peanut, you can open it and even you can break it into two, and you will have two cotyledons. Two cotyledons means dicot. One cotyledons means monocot.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, guys. So thank you and see you on Monday. Have a great weekend and hope you can complete the drawing.
Thank
I'm
you,
sure.
bye.
Thank you, teacher.
Thank you,
Thank you,
teacher.
teacher.
Goodbye.
Bye bye.
Nice weekend. Thank you.